welcome everyone to another BitShares talk on the Beyond Bitcoin network. It is Saturday, May 5th, 2015, and I am Official Fuzzy, joining to guide us through the weekly crowdsourced agenda gathered from our RSVP thread on EOSTalk.io, Steemit.com, and BitsharesTalk.io. We cross-post these using MazDAX, which is a cross-posting tool that allows you to get rewarded by multiple communities for participating in these RSVP threads. And we collect the information from these RSVP threads every week and put them in an ordered list that we call the BitShares open sourced agenda. We do have an agenda for this week, and I'll really quickly go over it. We first start off with an excerpt from the BitShares State of the Network report, as we always do. We will also go over EasyDEX, and that will be Walrus, who's joining to talk about that. And then we have Zoltan from AppAsia Tech, who is going to be talking about NowCOIN to finish off this hangout. So thank you, everybody, for joining up. Before we get into the agenda, I do want to get really quickly into our weekly hangouts, because we do join in these meetups every week without geographical boundaries or paywalls required for getting coverage. So additionally, we're kind of tired of seeing people who want to always charge for crypto coverage and all this good stuff. So we've tried to change things and turn them on their heads a little bit, make it a little bit more community oriented. And we suggest that you leverage these hangouts as we're turning crypto media on its head in this fashion by rewarding guest speakers with the world's most powerful cross-chain utility tokens. And it's all made possible on the blockchains in the space that actually scale, that we were founding people who really helped get us to this point. Most cryptocurrencies have problems with scaling, cannot do really anything on a mass scale level. And we are showing it every week with these hangouts as a byproduct, not even talking about what everybody is doing when they come here and bring up their own projects. So just really quick to let you guys all know, if you want to earn these cross-chain tokens, you can participate in our weekly hangouts or as a guest speaker and potentially earn them there. Potentially, you can also get tokens from the lotto that Fav runs every week during these hangouts. And finally, we also have some contests and challenges that we leverage to offer people the opportunity to participate in community initiatives and potentially be a winner of those community initiatives based on what they create and earn some tokens in these cross-chain tokens. And in addition, now we're starting to expand into other tokens that are both on BitShares and bringing use cases of value to other chains like EOS. So we're trying to create Voltron, like a cross-chain synergy between these chains, and that is the goal. And we work hard to do so. And we also try to connect up people with the BitShares exchange and show them the powerful tools it offers by leveraging our cross-chain tokens to not just say that this is the best technology in the world, but to prove it by giving them the tokens and letting them use it. So I want to appreciate everybody who joins up every week, everybody who's sharing this content. You are extremely valuable. You're making it so we get noticed, so we can show people the tools that we have every week. And so we can also combat FUD by not making it a he said, she said thing, but actually showing people that we have real tools today that work right now. So with that said, thank you everybody for joining up. Thank you for participating. And I'm going to go ahead and get into the contests and challenges for this week before we get into the excerpt. So we do have the EOS Talk Live, and that is another open source agenda, and that is for EOS bit rewards. And EOS bits will be kind of like Chuck E. Cheese tokens for dApps that accept the bandwidth that is represented by them. They will be backed at least for the future, the known future. They will be backed by 100,000 EOS and the bandwidth those give you. We also have an economic bubbles of history infographic challenge, and there are Tulip tokens that you can earn from that. And those tokens are going to be, well, the initiative itself is helping with a conference that is focused on trying to bring people back to the world of blockchain in a way that shows them actual real life use cases and not just pump and dumps. As we often see at conferences, people going there just to talk about the next thing that's not going to work because it's built on the wrong tech, and trying to get people to buy in. We are supporting the Tulip conference because they are going in the direction of trying to cover things that will work, things that will really bring value. And they have really honed in on the DPoS ecosystem because of Bitshares and EOS and Steam and all that they offer. And they believe that these are, like we do, some of the most powerful use cases in blockchain tech. So please consider joining up and helping with that economic bubbles of history infographic challenge. You can earn Tulip tokens, which will be good for tickets to go to the conference and other bonuses that you can leverage to potentially get some cool things. So with that said, we also have the Beyond Bitcoin tweet-offs, the hashtags tokens for tweets on Steemit and on whaleshares.net. You can also join up. Whether you have a bunch of Twitter followers or not, I urge you guys to consider joining up, participating. Even if you don't earn tokens right away, ask people to follow you so you can get the minimum number of followers. The people who have done this generally come to me and tell me that it was not so hard for them to get the minimum number of followers to start getting rewards. And over time, we are giving out more and more tokens for tweets challenges to those who tweet official tweets that we want to promote. So with that said, that is another cross value added utility for these tokens. And we leverage these tokens to really try to drive the community to do valuable things for all of us. Please consider participating if you're not. And if you don't feel like participating, but you know somebody who might, please feel free to let them know about these things too, because it is actual use and the spreading of these use cases that does more than any number of words that you might utilize to try to convince somebody of how powerful the tech is. If you find somebody who's fudding it, show them what we're doing and say, can you really disagree that this is stuff that nowhere else in crypto you can actually see it happening in the way that it's happening? Most people are going to have a hard time. And we do this stuff largely to give you those tools. So sharing this helps all of us as we try to create synergy. Okay, and with that said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on into the excerpt from the BitShares State of the Network report. On the 5th of 6th and 6th of May, 2018, the Global Graphene Blockchain Developers Conference will kick off in Shanghai, China. Hosting 35 speakers from over 15 projects, this will be a great event to attend. Next is this week, BitShares recorded a new 24-hour transaction record as reported by Blocktivity.info. BitShares hit a record of 1.513 million transactions over a 24-hour period, which works out to an average of 17.5 TPS. Up next is the BitShares-based farming game, which is bits.farm, has launched this week, and free seed tokens have been distributed. BitFarm allows users to earn cryptocurrencies by playing a fun and addictive farming game-based simulation. Up next is Cybex are developing a graphene-compatible hardware wallet named Nebula. The Nebula wallet is said to be the first hardware cold wallet backing EOS, CYB, and BTS simultaneously, using the same signature algorithm and a JSON transaction pattern as BTS. Next is the BitSpark team has released a detailed roadmap for 2018 with a primary focus on the Zephyr project. The roadmap includes BitSpark intent to run a gateway by the end of Q2 2018, as well as contribute to the development of open source liquidity trading bots within 2018, among many other milestones. And last in the BitShares State of the Network report excerpt is 63 million USD 24-hour trade volume on the DEX is running for this report on the 1st of May, as of the 1st of May 2018. So as you guys can see, if you're listening, BitShares, the longest chain in the world, is rocking. It is making new records. It's getting noticed a lot more. And we are creating cross-chain synergies between multiple different DPoS ecosystems and obviously some other ones as long as we are able. Obviously, the DPoS related chains make it a lot easier for us to work with and create value across all of them. But BitShares is really starting to fall into a place where it is being noticed and it is being utilized to create all the tokens that are needed. So it's looking very good. And if you want to join up and read this entire BitShares State of the Network report and find more information, because this is just an excerpt by @SteamPower. Go to @SteamPower on steemit.com, on BitsharesTalk.io, or on EOSTalk.io. And you can always read his full BitShares State of the Network report there. So with that said, up to date for the open agenda is Walrus first, who's going to be talking about EasyDEX. And I will go ahead and I'll ask Walrus, are you ready to give everybody an intro to the project and maybe discuss some things with the community?
Sure am.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to step back and I can kind of just everybody know who you are if they haven't met or haven't heard from you before. Everybody know a little bit about the project and give your updates, and then we can go on to the community.
Yep, me, I'm one of the co-founders of the BitShares and platforming community. One of the EasyDEX was from dealing with all the people that we had that were having like open ledger and stuff. They just found it a little confusing, so we wanted to make it a little easier. And then a lot of people losing their passwords, so we introduced password recovery. And we noticed that there was no fiat onboarding and offboarding on BitShares, so we jumped through all the regulatory hurdles to provide fiat. So we launched it about 2 weeks ago, and we now have password recovery and fiat onboarded and offboarding on the BitShares DEX.
Well, it sounds like, and obviously I'll say, just to kind of give everybody some full disclosure here, I am one of the people who asked Walrus to help with this front. So I really very much love the idea of EasyDEX from the start. However, I think it's pretty fair to say that we're in a position where there's a lot of things that have been needing to be done for BitShares users, and there haven't been a whole lot of changes and additions that have made a lot of value. Like, for instance, to me, the password recovery is one of the biggest things that I don't think people know about, and I think we should shout that from the rooftops, because I've had people just recently. I had somebody who I really like, who's a very valuable person in the community to me, who said that they lost 5,000 of their tokens, and that was because they lost their account, or they couldn't log into their account and had this problem. So essentially, this service would have saved them from losing those BTS essentially. So if we want to go mass adoption, you have to enable people to be able to recover these keys in some way, shape, or form, and that was a huge step forward. Can you give us a little bit more information about the fiat bridge services and the crypto gateways?
Yeah. Right now, we're almost done with our first crypto gateways, and we're going to start with Bitcoin and Steam and SBD, and then we'll have Litecoin, Zcash. I don't remember the whole list right off the top of my head. We got a whole list of them coming out really soon. The fiat, basically right now, all we have is bank transfers. We're working on some other options for onboarding, but and offboarding. But so right now, if you go to the EasyDEX exchange, and on the deposit and withdrawal page, you can if you select fiat, then it'll tell you the information about depositing. And for withdrawals, we have to do some KYC. So you have to verify your account with us a little bit, and then you can deposit and withdraw.
So you even have account verification in there, so you make sure that you are KYC compliant, essentially, for people who want to use those options.
Yes, we had to do that.
Yes, and for the people who are not aware, you do have to do that if you're working with this stuff, because know your customer is one of the things that has been put into place to protect us from terrorism and money laundering. We won't get into who the primary culprits are generally behind that, alphabet agencies. But regardless, we want to, or to monitor us. Yeah, Jim. Jim made a good point. But at the same kind of world where we're disrupting things, and we don't want good people being put in prison by force for interacting without being monitored. We want obviously to have a world where those jurisdictions that don't have that stuff thrive. And really empower people. This is my opinion. But at the same time, you kind of have to be very careful. Like, you can't operate these businesses without offering that, without potentially going to prison, being handcuffed, and being put, in a dark cage somewhere. So there's some really big issues with this, and I won't get into the philosophical or the other contexts that we can bring up too far, but it is something that you do have to kind of do if you don't want to go to prison and become, terrorist number one in the viewpoint of the society around us. So it's a very murky waters, and of course, not every jurisdiction requires that. Actually, a lot of them don't. So I look forward to those jurisdictions. But at the same time, if you're somebody who's in the USA or you're somebody dealing with people in the USA, you are definitely, or any of the other nations that are not quite as open in terms of this stuff, you risk being punished heavily for not doing it. So until we have better options, I'm glad that you guys are doing the things you're doing to try to give us a bridge into crypto that's a little bit safer in terms of being able to hold and have your account, to be able to have it encrypted and waiting for you to be able to recover your account. Can you speaking about that aspect? We have the user-friendly interface that you talked about, and then you also have the trustless password recovery option. Can you explain to people, because we kind of got into this the last time, and this was a question that I asked you the last time, but you didn't really get a chance because of computer issues. Or internet issues, rather, to explain it in a way that everybody could understand. Could you dig into the trustless password recovery option and why you guys thought it was important to add?
Yeah. Well, I've personally lost an account because of that, where I thought I had saved the bin file in the right place, but hadn't. And I think when I made the account, they didn't have the web wallet running yet. So the bin file was the only option. I could be wrong on that. But anyway.
Hey, can you sign in with your BitShares account?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, you can sign in with your BitShares account. Right now, to use the password recovery, you have to create an account through us. But here pretty soon, we're going to add a tool so you can use the password recovery option with existing accounts too. We just haven't got that up on there yet. And with the BitShares account, with the password, so when you sign up through us for the, I'm getting an echo here. Oh, sounds like we got that taken care of. So when you sign up through us with your when you register your account for BitShares, if you select, it's optional, but if you select the password recovery option, then it'll ask you a couple questions. We need to take your email, and it'll ask you a test question, and then based on your answer, your password is encrypted based on your answer to that test question. So if you need to recover your account, we send a link to your email, and when you click on the link, the answer to your recovery question, and it'll decrypt the password for you, and you can recover your password.
Did that answer your question?
Just so I'm clear, do I need to make a new account, or I could just use my current BitShares account and get a password recovery option using EasyDEX?
To use the password recovery option right now, you have to create an account through us, but we are working on a tool where you can use our password recovery option. I think we have it built, we just haven't updated it to the site yet, where you can use the password recovery tool for existing accounts too. Okay, I mean, I'm getting the confirmation that it's built, we just haven't added it yet.
Nice. So it is fair to say that if you have an account on BitShares, whether you use it through, whether you made it through the BitShares primary wallet that you go download and client side use it, or whether you're using one of the services like OpenLedger or Rudex or GDEX, you have the ability to even leverage this tool for this and other wallets. Obviously, there's a lot of other wallets. I won't go into all of them, but from any of these wallets, if you want to back up your password, you can use EasyDEX, just because they're all running on BitShares as the back end, so you can leverage that to basically protect all of your accounts. Is that fair to say? Like, if we boil it down?
Yeah, because it's the same BitShares account, no matter which DEX you use, or which DEX front end you use, I should say. So, and like I said, we're going to be adding the tool probably this weekend, where you can use the password recovery tool with existing BitShares accounts too. But as it stands right at the moment, you have to create an account through us to do it.
Cool. And Delex is asking, is the Fiat Gateway available right now?
The Fiat Gateway is available. Nobody's used it yet, but it's available.
Okay.
I want to mention a little bit information about the Fiat. I want to say that there will be a page in the website which will make audit over these matters, not only the Fiat gateways, but every bridge we have. So the people will be informed every time that them funds are saved and they match the asset we send them through the EasyDEX.
Well, that's good too. As far as being able to offer that service in general, it's going to be something that I think we like. Well, everybody is going to eventually, at some point in time. I mean, we want to have it where all cryptocurrencies are used for other things too, so we don't necessarily need fiat. But it's also it's a service that I think, you know, if you need to get into fiat to buy stuff and you have cryptocurrencies, these fiat gateways allow you to kind of become a world citizen and be able to easily get the currencies that you need wherever you are, to be able to, you know, as long as you have a bank account, to pretty much wire them in and be able to start purchasing goods and services in the areas where you are. So it really kind of does help us move in that direction of people being able to be freer and being able, it makes the world a little, I guess is the point. Does anybody have any questions or comments regarding anything that we've covered with the EasyDEX up to this point?
What about fiat withdrawal?
Yeah, fiat withdrawals working just fine. You have to do a little KYC, verify your account with us, which we say it takes up to a week, but we usually process it within 24 hours.
That's pretty sweet. Good to know. Thank you.
And a good question perhaps for some of the people who are using this service, do you guys store that information from that you receive from KYC for any reason other than KYC?
No, and we store it offline on a external hard drive, so it's not even online to be hacked or anything. We just store it completely for our records. We barely look at it, to tell you the truth, but we just make sure that they are who they say they are, and that's it.
That's pretty awesome. I will say that I've been talking with you guys about this stuff for a while, and I've been really happy to see how it's all working out. A lot of people in here are saying, you know, they've tried EasyDEX and it has fewer bugs, better overall user experience, just because of the speed of the transactions and how fast they go through. You don't have any failed transactions along the way. Those types of things, I'm already seeing people talk about it, and I'm even seeing people here in the groups talking a little bit about it as well. There's obviously more stuff that we need to always do, but I think that you guys have done a lot of stuff that it's taken us years to get in BitShares. So, like, for instance, the password recovery is something that I will forever be thrilled that you guys offer that. And it's something that I think that we should have had years ago. So I greatly appreciate that you guys have put forward on that. And additionally, you know, the fiat gateways are a very powerful thing. Our bridge services are a very powerful thing too. Obviously, KYC is necessary to open it up to the least free places in the world. But it's still necessary to give those people in those countries the opportunity to use this technology. And you kind of have to live by what those countries' rulers, or maybe I should call them servants, because that's what they're supposed to be, but their rulers dictate. And of course, the crypto gateways, you said that you're going to be offering multiple crypto gateways. Can you tell everybody what ones, like, if any, are up and running now, or any information on what they should expect on that front?
Right now, none of them are currently operating. We're testing NowCOIN this weekend, and then once we have that, because most of the development was on the Bitshares end. So once we have that, then we'll be popping them out every couple days.
Got you. Okay, so Jim 888 is asking here, any limit on how many transactions per day?
Yeah, with basic verification, it's either 5,000 or 10,000 per transaction. So it's per transaction, not per day. And if you want to do more than that, then would require a little bit more information depending on where you're at. But or we may require more information depending on where you're at. So we just tell you to contact us by email for larger deposits and withdrawals and that.
I want to point something on this. These are not our requirements. Those are a standard bank policy for they want to know from where this money come from. So even if they do not ask us direct, your personal bank provider service may contact you and ask why you send this money, the reason of it, and where they come from. So these are regulations which you usually do not have to cover when the transaction is under 5,000 at this moment.
Yeah, and these are, it's fair to say that these are not, like you said, these are things that you have to abide by in order to open these services to other people in in various jurisdictions where those things are requirements. Which I would say is one of those things where if you didn't offer that, well, you're actually harming the people in those countries even more by not letting them essentially have access to cryptocurrency and the value propositions it brings. So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, also we try to solve the problem with some countries added into the blacklist according to the European blacklist at this moment. And I hope we can find soon a solution from them as well.
Sure. On this topic, does anybody else have anything that they would like to say before we go to the next? Okay, so obviously, feel free to speak up whenever I ask that. This is something that all of you as a community are able to join up, to talk, to ask questions live. You can either ask them in the chat box or via voice if you have checked your mic beforehand. We do ask that you join 30 minutes prior, and at least 30 minutes prior, or make sure that your mic is working before we run the Hangout. But there is another question here from Jim888 in the chat, and I'll go ahead and read that now. In regard to fiat off-ramp, what currencies are supported and how are the pricing of the assets?
Yeah, right now we support USD and euros, and the pricing of the assets is determined by the market. We don't currently do anything to manipulate the markets on that. We just let the market determine the price, which I think is the best way to do.
All right, now, I suspect that there would be the question of how does what are the metrics you use to say, okay, the market has valued it at this? Do you use the API from a Forex exchange, or how does that work for you? Is it a bit asset? Can you explain a little bit more in detail to the people who are maybe a little bit new to this?
Well, since it's each of the token on Bitshares represents either $1 or €1 in our bank account, and you can trade it for that $1 or euro at any time, then that determines the value that each one's worth, one euro or one USD.
Got you. So you basically use the BitShares market.
Yeah, the fact that it's tethered to the dollar or the euro and freely tradable. I would actually say Tether is not freely tradable, so
I would tend to agree with you.
So since it's tradable for that $1 or euro at any time, that pretty much sets the value of that asset, because if it ever goes down, then people will snatch it up because they can trade it for the equal amount.
Yeah, and you bring up Tether, which is a great point here. This is kind of like Tether, right? So people might complain about that if they dislike Tether, but Tether does have some issues that you guys don't have. Would you like to get into that?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing with Tether is their transparency, that nobody can verify for sure that there's actually that much in account somewhere to match the actual tethers in circulation. And whether there actually is or not is almost a moot point, because the fact is that nobody can truly answer that question. And so one of our big things is that we're going to make sure to be completely, since nobody's used it yet, we haven't posted the feeds, but we be posting so that they know that it's actually there.
So, and this is a good point. I think it's actually a very salient point that we should take home, that we should definitely dig into, and that's why I asked the question, is because a lot of people dislike Tether. I personally am one of the people who hates Tether, and the reason simply is, from my standpoint, if you utilize Tether, you are basically supporting people who very well may be running a printing press without having anything really backing it. And every time that they've said that they would do an audit, they haven't. Nonetheless, they have become number 2 in volume out of all cryptocurrencies, despite the fact that I do not believe that we can even call them a cryptocurrency on most levels. And you guys probably hear me being a little bit biased, and some people might consider me a little bit hateful towards this, but I'm telling facts here. They've never done an audit. They've never done an audit. So if you are working with and using Tether, you should recognize that they've never done an audit. And if you really care about cryptocurrencies and the reasons, the actual value propositions for cryptocurrencies in terms of trustless, exchange and all, and the ability to be able to empower yourself, and kind of get away from the man, so to speak, being able to, or any tyrannical force that might want to use force against you. You want to get away from this central, this Federal Reserve model that they offer, where they basically print money and don't necessarily back it with anything. One of the things that really frustrated me the most was when they had Tether USD. Is if you were a U.S. citizen, you could not withdraw it. So basically, you were, they made it so all these little flags come up in my head saying they probably don't have the backing for if everybody wants their Tether to be transferred into a cryptocurrency of their choice, because they don't have the USD backing it. And if they did, it would have never been a problem for them to put up an audit. And if you use Tether, it's pretty much as far away from what the values of why we started using cryptocurrency from the very beginning. And the fact that you guys are offering that auditability, obviously people like Tether, the quarter to the dollar. That offering is the same type of thing, only without having to worry about, do they actually have it backed, right? Now, with that said, how would you guys say, like, the one potential issue that somebody might see with this is, like, will somebody be able to steal your funds? What happens if EasyDEX gets hacked and all of their stored USD or whatever currencies are taken? Is there anything that you guys have put in place to try to make that as safe as possible, or anything planned?
Well, they would have to hack either. They would have to hack the bank or the Bitshares network. So if either of those happen, we'd have. And if they hack the bank, it's covered by deposit insurance anyway. And if they hack the Bitshares network, then we got a much bigger problem than that.
Fair enough.
And I want to say that if they hack the Bitshares in some way, or exactly, especially the EasyDEX account, consider, guys, those are all EasyDEX assets. So I mean, it is pretty much possible to even delete all of them and redistribute it how it has to be and remove the hacked amount. I think this is an option for it.
Oh, fair enough. I was pushing the wrong push to talk button. And here's one more question here by Jim888, and I think it's a great question. Are there any fees as far as, as far as the withdrawals, any of that good stuff? Like where does the fee structure come in for people?
Okay, for now on, we don't have any fee, which is our personal fee of the EasyDEX gateway for any deposits. We cannot still verify if the banks have any fees, because of course this will be on the customer side. On the withdrawal fee, probably we'll have a small amount. I'm not sure we have any percentage added as for now.
Okay, and one person was saying that Coinbase's, their withdrawals are pretty expensive. So this might be an option for people who are using things like Coinbase?
For now, as far as I have reviewed the bank information, sure. The SWIFT transfers are around 20, 25, maximum to 40 euro USD at this moment. Therefore, I do not recommend withdraw small amounts. And the next point it is, they charge also sort of fee over the full amount, which is fixed to a maximum point. So for big amount of money, it is anyway fixed. It cannot go further. For the small amounts, they have fee, which I still cannot also see, because my plan is to probably test it myself this week, the upcoming week, and see what they actually gonna charge me. But it's quite hard because I do not have a board account. So I have to cooperate with someone to deposit, and after this I return the deposit, that I can actually check the actual values over the withdrawals.
Okay, thank you very much. And the only reason I bring that up is if if the fees are lower than things like Coinbase, that also offers a huge like potentially world-changing benefit for people who are using the services like Coinbase today. One more question, and I think we're gonna have to close up. But Q by Jim88, if you guys 888, if you guys can answer this real quick in regards to the security of the underlying UIA from the cryptocurrency deposits, can you speak on the measures in place for securing third-party assets like Bitcoin and gateways?
Oh yeah, definitely. That was a big part of it, and we're going to be using hardware wallets to store the majority of the third-party assets like Bitcoin, Litecoin, and all that. And then on hardware wallets that are stored offline and have backups of the paper wallet. And we'll only keep enough in the actual account used for deposits and withdrawals to make sure there's enough in there for people to use it. But the majority will be stored offline in hardware wallets with paper wallet backups.
Awesome. Well, thank you for answering the questions. And if people want to learn more about EasyDEX and participate in the community and ask you guys questions maybe a little bit more directly, how would they reach out to you?
We have the Telegram, we have Discord, and you can always email us too if you're interested. So I'll put links to those in the chat right now. Oh, there's the Discord one right now.
And just really quickly, do you guys have a worker proposal, or have you asked for a witness yet or anything, or have you basically just done this up to this point without getting direct payment from the BitShares community?
No, we did this all self-funded.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining up. I just want to make sure that all of you guys are aware that you can go and talk to them after these Hangouts. There are places for everybody who joins up to these Hangouts. They generally have their own groups. So make sure if you're listening to this after the fact that you leverage, or even during this time and you didn't get a question asked or that you would like to ask, feel free to reach out to the people who are guest speakers after the fact on the channels that they give you during this. And I want to just say thank you to everybody who joins these Hangouts. I want to remind everybody that sharing this content, sharing the information brought out by the people who join these open source discussions, really is one of the best things that you can do, even if you don't have the money to necessarily buy into something or reward something monetarily. Letting people know what's going on here and that this stuff is some of the first things that are real, like some of the best things in crypto are going on right here. So to be able to leverage that and let everybody know and show them is a lot more powerful than just going out and talking about it and trying to get people to understand through words. Sometimes when you show them, it has a lot more weight and it carries a lot more. So leverage these as a tool. Please feel free to share or even cut up these different guest speakers who join up to these weekly Hangouts. And we also offer the ability for you to stream live and potentially earn tokens for being the person who has the most views every week. So with that said, thank you guys for joining up and thank you for participating. Okay, is that somebody who was trying to talk to us, or is that somebody who's having problems and is accidentally coming into the Hangout talking? Okay, so with that said, I'm going to just assume that whoever spoke up wasn't intending to speak up. Up next is going to be Zoltan from NowCOIN. Actually, he's from appasia.tech, but he's going to be talking about the project NowCOIN. So feel free to step up to the plate, give everybody a little bit of an intro, and tell everybody a little bit about NowCOIN, and we can open up for some community questions.
Hi, Fuzzy. It's Ross here. Just before Zoltan introduced, from appasia.tech side, we had the Hungarian Cryptocurrency Foundation, Zoltan, approach us in the Telegram channel a few weeks ago. So this is something we've been putting together in terms of contracts and legalities and having escrows for the competition, and where we've applied some development help together with a node for this game to run, which is using Elasticsearch. With that said, I'd just like to say a big thanks to Zoltan for coming on tonight, and I want to hand over to him to talk about the overall concept and how you can actually go and play this game right now.
Well, thank you very much for bringing this to the community, and thank you to Zoltan for joining up and being interested in doing this. I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. Is Zoltan still here?
I hope so.
Well, just a reminder for everybody here, these are the times when, we do have, this is live, and this is using technology. Somebody might test their stuff and it works perfectly, and that was the case. But at the same time, sometimes the technology, when we are live, decides in the moment to make it a little bit more difficult to use this service and to talk a little bit for people to be able to hear you. So I don't know exactly what's happening with Zoltan.
Hello.
But okay.
Hey.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Sure
okay. I just had to reconnect. There was some problem. I don't know. I was listening to the whole Hangout. So thank you, Ross, for the introduction. Thank you, Fuzzy, for having the possibility to present our project. Just for a short introduction, I am a lawyer which is kind of funny being around in the crypto world. Nowadays, I'm a lawyer and an advisor. I am the president of the Hungarian Cryptocurrency Foundation. I have been involved in, I have been advising cryptocurrency projects during the last, let's say, year and a half. And I was around Bitshares. I was trading on Bitshares. I was learning how Bitshares platform is working. I think that's just an amazing platform. I'm a true believer of decentralized exchanges and these kind of things. And after being around in the crypto world, I just started to work on this vision, on this idea that basically the cryptocurrencies that we have around us, more than 1,500 in all as of nowadays, they are not really currencies in the economic way of saying that, because a real money, a real currency means that you have a lot of holders and you have a lot of merchants where you can pay with your funds. And what I see around is that most of the cryptocurrencies are basically just there. You're not really able, they are not mass adopted. You're not really able to use them for payments and these kind of things. Most of the tokens that are just generated around certain projects, they have one purpose, to be in that project. So basically me and my business partner, we had this idea to try to run like a social experiment and try to create a cryptocurrency by artificially creating both legs, the holders and the merchants. And our idea is basically that first you need to create the holders and you need to capitalize them. You need to make them have their funds, have your crypto, have their funds in your crypto. And since people like to play, that's the best way to motivate people. We created this crypto trading game, which will, I think it will be fun. It will be our asset to bring attention to NowCOIN, to the NowCOIN platform. It will be an asset to build a holder base, to keep them entertained, to keep them focused on our channels. And what we believe, it is just a simple economical vision, is that if we have holders who hold funds, if they have nice capitalization, and if they are focusing to one channel because they receive special games and informations on the channel every day or every week, then we created a kind of a marketplace where merchants can be lured in, because merchants like to list their services and goods and advertise themselves on markets where there are people with funds. So basically, that is the organic idea we worked out. That's it basically. That's our vision, to create a working cryptocurrency, officially creating both legs. We will use the game to create the holder base. We will use people focusing because of the game to lure in merchants, and then there is a specific end of the game. All is said in the rules. I do not really want to go into details because we are at the end of the Hangout, and I believe most of the participants are not so focused now, but we are open on Telegram channels and on the internet. But basically what we believe, or what we want to try, is that when the game is over and the creator steps back, if we are able to leave behind a working marketplace with holders of our currency, merchants providing services for our currency, then we kind of created something. That's what our idea is about.
Okay, so you guys have this game, and you have, obviously, there are rules to every game. So can you get a little bit into the rules of the game, how it works for everybody who might be interested in playing this game and being a participant in it as a NowCOIN holder?
Yeah, basically it's very simple. It's not overcomplicated. If you are a holder of NowCOINs, you can buy them on the exchange. They are completely preloaded. I mean, let's start from scratch then. How we created the coin is that the coin was divided into pools. That's how we call them. We have an exchange pool of 50 million coins that was preloaded to the exchange, to the Bitshares decentralized exchange. anybody can buy from those coins, and all the income which comes in BTS, that will be completely locked until the end of the game. So the prices will not be modified. It's we consider it done, we consider it locked, and the income will stay there until the end of the game. That will be important later. Then we have 45 plus 5 million coins for rewards. There will be like normal rewards. People will be able to get every second week a certain small percentage of bonus for holding. Every month, the first 1,000 holders will be rewarded. And then we will have, and that's just the basis. That's when the game comes in the picture. When we have enough holders with specially announced games, we will try to make them move up and down the system. Like, for example, we do not want to have whales sitting in the top 1,000 waiting patiently for their rewards. Sometimes we will just introduce a game that, let's say, the second or the third 1,000 account holders sorted by balance, they will receive special rewards. So people will need to decide whether to separate their accounts to lower their balances or trade coins on the exchange. And that's how we want to move people around, have them focused and have them traded. That's basically the concept. And the game ends when the reward pools run out, or basically go below 10 million coins, or at the latest at a set date, I believe July 15th next year. That's when the final airdrop comes, when the top 1,000 holders will receive basically everything. They will receive the complete NowCOIN and BTS balances of the exchange pool, and they will receive all remaining funds from the reward pools. So that's the point of time when basically everything is given back to the community. That's when the creator steps behind and sees what will happen. That's the core idea. Of course, that's much more, but for now, I think that's how I can present it in the first round.
Sure. Does anybody have any questions about this regarding the points that were brought up before I get into?
I just had a quick question regarding the strategy of the game and the proposed, I guess, mini games that occur over time. I went to the website today and I noticed under strategy, there's nothing listed there. The link doesn't work. It'd be nice to see some proposed gameplay or something like that.
Thank you for your question. I mean, we are running now in beta. We did not really start it publicly advertise. It was a great help and assistance from Apasia Tech and Ross to introduce us to the BitShares community, because this is for us like a test period. In the BitShares community, there are a lot of valuable people with great questions and comments. So what we are doing now, we are finalizing the websites, we are finalizing the white paper, we are finalizing the structure, and in the meantime, we receive a lot of feedback from the community that is helping us before we really go public. So strategies. I mean, I am writing. I am on a Telegram community channel, handling the community channel, and simultaneously to that, I am writing Medium articles now about all these topics. I have a list of like 25 topics, which I have to write in discussions. So everything is coming. We already created something, because if you see, there is the live coin, nowcoingame.com. We worked a lot with that. It's based on Elasticsearch, and I think it is working pretty well. Basically, we created a new block explorer, which is quite something. All the small details, they will just come within days, within weeks.
Is the idea of the expiry of June 2019 kind of that gives you the entire month of May to iron out the final details, so this basically runs a full year, June to June?
Not really. I mean, we were thinking about a lot on how far to stretch the game, and definitely, if we are successful, it will end pretty much sooner, because if the exchange pool is sold out, the 50 million coins are sold out, then the reward payments will suck down the reward pool balance, which means that the game will end earlier. The date, June 15th next year, we stipulated that date because simply we do not want to run this game forever in an infinite way, because the game is not the purpose. As I said earlier, it's just an asset of making some noise, of raising attention, of luring in holders who are focused. We do not want to run it forever. I believe if the vision, the ID is not set up and is not working by June 15th, then basically the first 1,000 holders, that will be the only thing that people want to get in, the first 1,000 balance accounts. Other people will sell. The first 1,000 will have to buy, because their bait is the BTS revenues that will save smaller holders from not being able to escape and exit. And then we are not successful, but that's not the aim. So this kind of stipulating June 15th next year was, and the clear intention behind was that we do not want to run an infinite scheme of rewards. We wanted to carve into stone that this is just an asset. It's not a scheme that will just run forever until it collapses.
So to make it clear, it's not collapsing. It's basically saying this is going to be, once this certain amount of tokens is in existence, you're going to basically take the highest number, the people who have the most tokens. You're going to be giving them an airdrop, and it's basically now you get more tokens by holding over a certain percentage, being like, well, in terms of like all of the holders, if you are in the top 1,000 number of accounts, for instance, you get 8% reward, as opposed to if you're holding more than 100 now coins, you get 3%. But if you're holding 100 now coins and you receive that 3% reward and you're not doing any trading to get more of them, you basically are automatically going to lose. So you should definitely only get into it if you're wanting to trade and you think that you can get the most tokens by doing that. Is that about correct?
Exactly. So we do not really want people to hold, and it is we should not talk about here people having 100 NowCOIN balances. What we want to avoid is that some whales just start to sit comfortably in the first 1,000 and kind of flatten out the game. So this is why what we mean by special games, and that was a very good point, we should work it out, we should communicate it much clearer, that by the special games, we will make the community trade, because it will be much easier to collect rewards by playing around with your balances, following pre-announced schemes or targets, than just to pour money and try to stay in a top comfortable position. I'm not saying that's not impossible, because if George Soros, I don't know, comes aboard and pours in billions, I mean, nobody can beat him. But we are not expecting that kind of surprises.
But you're saying, I guess, in my thoughts here, though, is even if that happens, and I'm holding these tokens, and I'm like, well, I can never beat Soros on this one, I'm just going to sell them to him at a higher price because he has pumped the price so high trying to buy them from other people. And everybody makes money in that situation.
I mean, we will leave it to the market. I mean, this is why Bitshares is a fantastic platform for us, because as soon as you have your asset, it can start to circulate. People, for example, can create other trading pairs. You buy now coins for BTS, you list it for USD, you list it for Chinese yuan. You enter other markets, and if other markets become active, there will be price differences. So traders can go in and they can start hedging, and that's how they can also make profits. For project around in the Bitshares ecosystem, that's the bot trading bot, what CryptoKong is being managing. He's very, or probably it's not him, but he's very active in that group, the DEX bot. These kind of things will strongly assist our efforts, because we want to create an ecosystem in which there is trading, in which there is real turnover. And that is why BitShares is just fantastic, because in this decentralized ecosystem, anything can happen. People can just simply use the coins for payment. They can collect rewards. They can follow the games, but organically, they can start creating pairs and trading NowCOIN between other pairs. So we want to keep it as organic as possible, and then to kind of shepherd the project the way it wants to go.
Well, I think that the game, you guys are never going to have me complain about gamifying cryptocurrencies. And I think we're at that point, kind of like what you were saying. BitShares is such a powerful thing because you get to define those things, right? And it gives you the ability to do that and let's face it, it's not popular, the whole KYC thing, but if you want to open markets to everybody, you have to you have to expect that those types of things are going to be necessary. And BitShares offers all of that and the ability to do what you guys are doing, which is gamify a token, right? And these games are very powerful ways of getting people to interact. Now, along with that, obviously people need to know about the project itself. So can you get a little bit into the marketing aspect of what you guys have planned for marketing this?
Basically, our marketing plan has roughly now 3 phases, let's say. We are now in the first phase. We are now in this pilot phase within the BitShares community, as I told, to explore our possibilities, to receive the feedbacks, to ask for the assistance of the BitShares community for advices on how we can be better, how we can look better, how we can achieve our vision much better. That's the first phase. For the second phase, we have quite an amount of funds available for general online marketing. That's when we will make the project public in a way that we will step over the boundaries of the BitShares community. We want to launch global advertisement like sponsored articles on DEX, going all the community, and that's where I believe our project can really bring added value for the BitShares platform as well, because then we will try to lure in crypto traders from other platforms who will probably be introduced to the BitShares platform through us. So, I mean, I know it is very ambitious, but I'm an ambitious guy, and if I say something a lot of times to myself, then I start to believe it, and then I'm working on achieving that. So that's the second phase, to go public and lure in capital, lure in traders, and capitalize the fund, the NowCOIN and our ecosystem. And when we reach a certain amount of holders, let's say, I don't really know because nobody writes this in books, you cannot learn that, but let's say we have 5,000 holders or 10,000 holders, and we have a decent capitalization of, let's say, I don't know how much. That's when it will be interesting to start the third phase and start to present it for merchants. And I see that also in the BitShares community, there are projects which are actively working on merchant endpoints, like mobile merchant endpoints and this kind of stuff, which is just amazing and just perfect for us because it provides us the asset to reach out for the merchants. So these are basically roughly the 3 phases. And then the final airdrop, then the creator stands up from the table, and then we will see if our social experiment is successful, has created any value. Definitely, I believe it will be fun for the next coming year, and we will be working for making it also successful.
I just have a small comment, if I could.
Yep.
This game reminds me of something like called Capture the Flag, where, the idea is very simple. You have a starting position, you have an ending position, You know approximately how much time it's going to take for the game. But at the very end, it's not about the game itself that's interesting. It's what's going to transpire from the moment the game starts to the moment the game ends. That it's the in-between that gets interesting and exciting, I guess. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yes, definitely. I mean, for me or for anybody, I think what happens in between is the most interesting part, because that's when you're playing. Receiving a good share of the final airdrop is also, I believe, a good thing, because if you receive a lot of BTS and a lot of NowCOINs from the pools, that's also, at least for some people who like to earn money, that's interesting. But for people who like to play, who like to think, who like to create ideas on how to make the community more active, what happens in between will be actually even more fun. And in this way, we did not close up. So I want to grab this opportunity to announce that if anybody likes our vision, stands by our vision, and thinks that he can support our vision with ideas on how to gamify, how to network in any way, then please contact us, because we are just starting up. We are building, and by building, I mean we really want to build a team of more and more people dedicated to the project and bringing added value for the project. That's what that's why we created the founders pool, where we can provide vesting for people bringing added value for the ecosystem.
And you mentioned, of course, how, reach out to you guys and discuss some of these things with you if somebody wants to participate, has ideas. How would they go about doing that if they want to talk with you guys behind the scenes or after this hangout?
We have a Telegram channel. We have a Twitter channel where we can be followed. We also have a Telegram community. I can post the invite link to Discord. Basically, those are the key points where I wish to focus communication in order not to get lost. But if anybody wants to find me outside of Telegram, of course, I'm just a normal guy. I have a phone, I have WhatsApp, I have Viber, I have an email. I will post some availabilities on this Discord thread, and then anybody who reaches out to me, they will find me, and I will get back to them.
Cool. And if you have the Telegram group, you said that there's an invite link. Does that mean that it's not a public group, or can people join up without an invite link?
That was a very difficult question. Right now, it's a private group because, as I told you, I'm advising ICO operations, for example, as a legal advisor.
Sure.
And I see Telegram can bring you a lot of advantages, but it can bring you a lot of disadvantages. When you make a Telegram group public, cannibals start to pour in, selling their own product, flooding your product, doing all kind of unimaginable things. So until we have like a professional social media department set up, we are working on implement bots to Telegram for automatize some of our communication. Until we set up these kind of things, I do not really wish to open up for thousands of Telegram cannibals, which you are unable to follow. This is something we need to learn.
Sure. And I guess my big point is I would like to make sure that, because we also, obviously we have people here who are listening. We have other people who listen live without joining the actual Discord server and join the live streams that are going on. But if they are not able to reach out to you or get to the link that you guys provide in here for your private group, because right now it's in that stage where you want it to be private and you have reasons for it, maybe an email would be best for those who are not able to listen in or not able to see how to get into that group but are very interested. Would you be able to give them an email?
Absolutely. I will just post here to the Discord group my my private email address, my law firm address, and feel free, anybody, to drop me a line. And what's more, I mean, I am a lawyer. I have 15 years of practice behind me with a LinkedIn profile. If somebody wants, they can find me. I can also post my LinkedIn profile here to the group. My email, contact details. I can be found. I have been working on the consultancy market now for a little bit more than 15 years. So I need to be found because that's what I have been making the living out of.
Sure. Really, to be honest with you, any link that I can, that we can say out loud that somebody who might not be actually watching a video, if they want to participate and we make it easy for them to reach out to you, what would be the easiest method and what would that information be? So I can read it off, or you can just say it out loud. I don't mind either way. But I want it basically, if somebody's listening to this after the fact, they're just listening to it on the radio and they want to participate, and they don't have to go anywhere else than to just say, "Oh, I've got it right now. I'll write it."
They should come to our landing page, NowCOIN.game.com. From then there they find all the channels. They can go to our block explorer, which is live.nowcoingame.com. So we can be found there. I do not really want to spell my email address because everybody will misspell it, because we Hungarian people, we have fun in so that's kind of a funny language. Everybody is telling me that Hungarian people sound like talking without sentences. So we are just bombing words after each other. So if anybody interested comes to nowcoingame.com, they will definitely be able to reach out for me, especially because there is the invite link on nowcoingame.com to the Telegram group. So they just click on invite. If they post their Bitshares address, they will also be airdropped with 10 NowCoins, just to feel a taste.
Cool. And for those of you who are listening to this after the fact and you are trying to figure out where on nowcoingame.com that would be, you would go to nowcoingame.com, scroll to the bottom of the page where you will see follow us, and you will see the primary accounts on social media that they offer right there.
You're a professional, Fuzzy. Thank you very much.
Oh, I appreciate that. You can say that more than once, because I don't always think I come across that way, but thank you very much. I'll take it whether it's a lie or truth. Thank you, honestly, to all of you guys. As you guys can see, for those of you who've been paying attention to the Bitshares community and what we've done here since the beginning, the people who come in here, there's more and more that we're getting more and more people from outside in crypto who are saying, wow, look at like what he was just saying here is about, it's like we have this amazing technology and people are starting to really pick up on that. And you see things like NowCoin and these gamification aspects coming out precisely because they have the ease of use to be able to accomplish these things, because they can go make a coin easily. And now you can have people who are experts in other things, right, who are joining up, who are participating in this without being able to maybe make their own chain, right? So it's a very powerful tool. I'm glad to see that there are more things like NowCoin coming. I also appreciate App Asia Tech for being a participant in this and advising you guys and working with you guys and bringing you guys on here. But I will also say, if all of you guys, if you're listening to any of these things and you appreciate them, even if you can't actively participate, if you have other people who are nerds in crypto and believe in similar things to what we do, and any of this resonates with you, the most powerful thing you can do is not fund it directly, it is sharing it. So even if you're somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, you can share it. Obviously, if you have some resources go a long way in these areas, right? Especially on good projects. So if you believe in a project, if you give other resources to it too, that's great. But if you don't have that money, let's say you're a newbie and you don't really have a whole lot of money, telling people about projects like these are a really wonderful way to help spread organically through word of mouth the most important things that we as an ecosystem believe need to be noticed within the crypto ecosystem as a whole. So I cannot express to you guys every week effectively just how important it is that you guys continue doing what you're doing. You continue letting people know about what's going on in these ecosystems. The people who join up here every week share the Hangouts themselves. This is how we get the message across. And we, you know, the crypto scene is getting really frustrated with pumps and dumps. You're seeing that the ICOs are making about a quarter of what they used to. And it's largely, in my opinion, because we have seen so many cryptocurrency projects come out not trying to add any value and building on platforms that really can't, even if they are trying to add value, they can't even really provide that value because the platform they build on will not scale. Think CryptoKitties, right? These are the types of things that we have the power to enable with this technology. And the fact that you guys are here either building on this or using things that other people are building on this means that you're really ahead of the pack. And the value propositions that are offered here are things that can scale. Obviously, it's something up to you guys all to decide whether you think it's valuable or not. But we do have a community who tries to bring things that they think are valuable. And we try to offer you guys all the opportunity to ask questions both in the RSVP thread to people who RSVP and also within these live Hangouts themselves. We're trying to really get away from the pump and dumps and how all that stuff works. And we've been trying to prove over time that we can do better by supporting things that we believe in and sharing things that we believe in and leaving it open for people to come on and discuss them. So I appreciate all of you guys. I appreciate the people who join up as guest speakers because you potentially are asked very difficult questions sometimes from the people who join up in here. It takes a degree of bravery and a degree of confidence in your own project to be able to join up and do this. So thank you very much for those of you guys who participate and make the you guys again next week, same time, same day. And just running over a little bit, these are something that, you know, I start and we do like a 10 minutes update on our end. So I want it to sometimes go over a little bit if I feel like we haven't covered everything for the people who join up. And today we had two projects that I really like them. So I think that we've had a pretty good hangout today. All of you guys have made that possible. And please consider sharing it and joining up to the next one or listening live through any of our live streamers. Now, thank you guys for joining up this week. Thank you guys for making this all possible. And supporting me is very easy as well. If you go at steemit.com @officialfuzzy or beta.whaleshares.com @officialfuzzy, will someday here in the next few months become its own chain. You'll be able to reward me and the people and give me tokens that I can leverage to continue doing some of the things that I'm doing. So with that said, thank you everybody, and we will see you guys next week.